Alright, what is going on, guys? It's Wax, and today we're going to be doing another demo review of an engineer who goes by Gramps. This is from, I believe it's a match, or a scrim or something. It's on Gullywash, and which isn't being played in RGL, it's actually being played in UGC. So we're just going to go ahead and take a look at what he does here and see how, what he does on 5CP. And my favorite thing about 5CP on Engineer is that you can be really flexible in what you do and the decisions you make. Just because of how stalemate it can get, it can be really slow, and for an engineer that's actually really nice. Of course, for the game mode, I mean, it's not very great. Not very good. So right off the bat, I noticed he's playing very passive, and that's usually not something what you want to do on Engineer. Sometimes what you want to do, because see, already right off the bat, he's getting a ton of spam on him and everything. And usually what you want to do is you want to be right here, putting your mini sentry somewhere in this area here. Try to take as much ground as possible with the Wrangler. I noticed he was on pistol. And really his whole team didn't really have a whole lot of pressure on the mid-fight, and they kind of just got rolled immediately. And his team's just staggering picks at this point. We're going to go ahead and see what he does now. So, your sniper just fed there, and you taking the telly was a bit of a dangerous move, because that could have been you who died as well. So at the moment, you guys are just kind of staggering. Okay, I don't know how you're alive this long. So you should have, ideally, you should have died there. Not ideally, but like realistically, you would have died a lot earlier there. But that your pressure did allow your spy to get their demo, so that's a good pick, and their medic died just now as well. So this is actually a really good opportunity for you guys to push in. Usually, what I've noticed is that what you can do on 5CP is you kind of have a choice to play with your combo or your flank, sticking well, as in stick primarily to your combo or your flank, and you can just play with them for the match and just see if that what works best for you. So what I'll tend to do is I'll just figure out which portion of my team needs that extra support from me the most, and I'll just play with them. And it's just really good practice. And so it looks like his team is opting to push through big door. They still have full ad here, so they should try to go in as soon as possible before the other team catches up. They're down a spy, but that's not a huge deal. And he looks like he's contesting this alone, which you really don't want to do as engineer. You usually want to have at least a powerful, a blast class or a heavy class with you, so that you can take chokes safely. Having a sentry in a back spot like this doesn't really watch anything, and instead you're kind of just playing too far back, and you're really just baiting your team when you play that passive, because they die and then you go in and then you'll die as well. But here you aren't dead for some reason. But you really don't want to be in this position for too long. I like, while getting behind them can be fun, you want to get those flashy plays. It's still important to be very mindful of what you're doing. Okay, but you are causing some pretty good pressure here, actually, so. Unfortunately, can't quite kill the soldier there. You look like looks like you're having some internet problems here, man. This is a very choppy SCV. Alright, so you being behind right now doesn't really contribute anything. What you're doing essentially is just wasting your own time. Your team is currently getting pushed back, and there's not a whole lot you're doing right now that's contributing to stopping that, which is your role as an engineer. It's not really your job to be the flanker. Yeah, you traded with the soldier there, but your team lost mid, so you just wasted way too much time behind them, not really doing anything. Okay, so it looks like you've opted to switch to rank to I don't know. Oh, okay, never mind. Alright, yeah, Wrangler is a much better choice on this map than Pistol, in my opinion, just because of these huge sightlines. You can see like this long corridor here, and then you can watch the whole point. And in general, it's just a better option if you want to have more versatility. Okay, so they're heavy overextends, and now you're overextending. So, and you alive? Huh. Alright, well, so you are gonna, okay, so he does die here. So, usually, when the heavy dies, it is a good, like, that is usually a really good, opening for you to move in, but it's not for you as an engineer, because you're just too squishy of a class. Usually your first instinct should be, I should wait for my team, or I should call it that the heavy's dead so that my team can aggress faster. And now you're on Widowmaker? It's an interesting swap. I don't even know what's going on right now. Just a lot of frags are being traded back and forth, and everybody's just kind of staggering on both sides. But you guys should be pushing in here, though, while they don't have an engineer. Yeah, you guys waited. It took way too long to push in there. You guys were up 3-4 players for a while, and just kind of lingered in lobby. So right now, all you can do is kind of just hang out, wait for something to happen. Okay, so the medic dies. Your team isn't going in right now, which is upsetting. So one thing that a lot of teams I see not doing is they wait, like, is pushing without Uber. Teams, they just take way too long to push in. They wait till they have Uber to push in, and it's just a waste of time, honestly. There's so many times you can afford to go in without Uber. And here you're just kind of lingering back and not doing anything. You're pretty much your entire team just went in trying to push in, and instead you just stayed back in lobby and contributed nothing to the fight. So your team was pretty much down like a player and a half because your mini was in lobby as well. So you just have to be a bit more proactive there and going in with your team. So you've just been hovering around your dispenser for the last couple minutes, or last minute or so, and here you're just overextending and dying. So you're just kind of, it seems for the most part, you're just walking in without any idea of what's going on around you, and you're just paying the price for it. Like instead of waiting for players to come in with you, then you'll just end up going in alone and dying. Yeah, I wouldn't opt to run Widowmaker here. Just the chip damage is too valuable on the shotgun. The Wrangler is just not something you'd want to run with the Widowmaker in the first place. I know you're not running the Wrangler here, but it's just pretty much the default in this map, in my opinion. Oh, that's unfortunate. So that life was just another case of you going in for practically no reason. I feel like you're not paying attention to you're just not paying very much attention to who's alive on your team and who isn't, and who's alive on their team, and who's calling what, and what kind of ground is being taken, like what the map situation is looking like who has positioning where. These are all things you just have to take into, like, learn how to take into account on 5 CP, because you'll just end up staggering a lot. Oh, you were lagging. It's poor man. I'm just gonna go ahead and stand right here. Alright, the laggy engineer's trope is being fulfilled here. Alright, so you miraculously live there. I guess the medic was taking you, so it's alright. But they lost a lot of players, so this is a great cue for you guys to push in here. So you're gonna come in... No, I guess not. Yeah, so you should be pushing with your team right now. You're not really doing anything just by lingering back here. Instead, you're just sort of holding your team down. There's much more ground that could be taken. And you guys actually have mid as well. They never capped, it looks like, so... You took way too long to get to this fight here. And you did not spy check that guy, so... That's a mistake as well. You definitely want to spy check everybody. Even if you're carrying a building, just plop it down real quick. Oh, no! Okay, at least he didn't get anybody. Alright, so the problem with the Widowmaker on this map especially is that there's like no metal on this map. And since everybody is very ammo dependent because of that, like this is like 5 CP Highlander, like there's barely enough metal to go around for everybody, so you pretty much have to have a dispenser down. And when you're pouring so many of your metal resources into using your Widowmaker, then I mean, it's just a detriment to your team overall because there's not, like, there's no buildings going up. Like, there are so many situations here where you could have had a dispenser up, but instead you're just running around with the Widowmaker in the back line. And here you're just baiting your sniper. That sniper could have easily been rushed down before your sniper died. Okay, but you are behind them here. I want to see what you can do. So, ideally you would have wanted to have put a mini sentry down there, because even if you are using a gun that uses metal as ammo, you can still put a mini down and then just get a couple shots off, and then you'll get your ammo back. But I mean, if you weren't on a Widowmaker, that wouldn't be a problem in the first place. Yeah, whenever I'm about to go for, I rarely go for flanks if I can help it, but if I am ever in that position, I always want to have a mini sentry ready to be deployed. I keep losing you here when you die. God damn it, where are you? Okay, there you are. Alright, so you seem too concerned with getting buildings down when you don't need to be putting buildings down. Like, when your team is contesting, you just kind of be hanging out in the back doing nothing, and then when you are in, you're feeding, and you're just not taking good positioning. I'm not entirely sure, because I mean, obviously I wasn't there, I don't know what the calls are like, but it just seems like you're not really listening to any calls, or I don't even know if there are calls in the first place. But to me, it just feels like you're sort of just going in with no rhyme or reason. It's like you're going in just for the sake of being in. Here it looks like you're trying to kill the medic. Looks like you can't get it, so you back out. That's nice. Okay, I want to see more of that. This is smart, just body blocking the medic. Good job, man, that's funny. Okay, so they just stupidly fed, like, you guys are up 2 players and they're down a demo, so they have no stickies on the point, and their soldier's dead as well. So this is literally a free point. You guys are up so many players, so even if you guys don't have Uber, you can still push in. I don't know why nobody's initiating this push, because that was probably a free cap right there. So you should never be the first one through that shutter choke there. It's just got way too much. Okay, good thing you're soldier and not your demo. There's just way too much spam that can go through that shutter, and there's heavier classes that can take that spam that aren't you. So I'd say just watch out for that. Just don't be the first to go in through chokes, is like a general rule of thumb you can follow. And this is also a very bad position to be in. You really don't want to be stuck in a corner like this when their team is right here, because first of all, you have to cross this sight line to get out, and then if you try to get out, then I mean, and if somebody comes around this corner, you're stuck. You're trapped in this corner. There's not much you can do. But instead, oh, okay, you're out in bats. That's interesting. Okay, so they Uber back in because they realized that you guys weren't putting any pressure on them at all, and it looks like you're going for a back cap here. So this is gonna be tough because you guys are down so many players, but they don't have an engineer. You were already down, so you were already down like 5 players, and they had already pretty much captured second. So you had no reason to be behind, and their soldier was still on last, so there is no reason to go up and try to kill him. Even if you caught him off guard, it's just a small confined area where you have, that soldier has every advantage imaginable. Honestly, it would have been a better use of your life to just have either, if you hadn't tried to get out, then just hit your, hitting your suicide mine would have been a better option, because you would have died sooner. And you somehow get into a position to kill the sniper, so that's interesting. And then the medic, oh my, I don't even know what I'm watching, man. This is an interesting demo. Okay, at least you guys still have mid. Oh no. Okay. So you guys have Uber Ed. So there's no reason not to take this. Okay, so you guys are coming in, killing the heavy, taking the teleporter down, staggering their players. This is really good. This is exactly what you want to do on Gullywash. Just try to get them to stagger as many players as possible. Meanwhile, you're out here fighting a spy. So every life, what I like to do is I like to give myself an objective. So like just set a nice precedent for myself. Like when I start the game, I just like think to myself, these are the things I want to accomplish like during this match, and it just makes playing a lot easier. So because that means I won't have to think about things in the heat of the moment. I mean, obviously you want to be able to make some of those decisions. You do have to improvise and ad-lib some decisions, but usually when you have like a thought process, like when you have a little game plan planned out, it becomes a lot easier to execute. Just because, you know, and so that you'll know how to deal with all these situations. So here, what you would have wanted to done earlier, more proactively rather, would have been putting a mini sentry down here in main, because their gun was shooting your combo, which was like fighting somewhere around here, and you could have just walked in down here and put a mini down, and it would have been down a lot earlier. But instead, you opted to stand here, and again, didn't really contribute much to the team fight. So you like, it seems like you're worried too much about like. It's almost like you're like too worried about your stats. I mean, you just got to be able to, you know, you got to push in with your team. Otherwise, like that's just kind of how Gullywash works. If you don't come in, if everybody doesn't come in as a unit, then you're not gonna accomplish anything. So you have to be able to get in with your team and have a mini sentry coming up during the fight, because it'll be a lot more tougher. It'll be a lot tougher to focus down than it will be post fight. Because by then, some people will already be dead on both teams, and I don't know. Overall, it'll just become a lot easier for you. You'll find. So your team is, your soldier just stuffed them really hard. You just killed their demo and their scout. So this is another really good opportunity for you guys to push in. Yet you're not, and now you're getting back capped. So you guys have to come back. Yeah, it's just so many players are just getting staggered right now. Everybody's just in the worst positions imaginable. So, honestly, when I'm in a situation like this as engineer, I try to like, I don't know, all I can do is just try to preserve my, just be able to work with those players that are consistently doing work. So like, if I notice my soldiers lagging behind, I mean, yeah, I want to give him as much support as I can, but if he's just staggering constantly and just isn't listening, then I'll want to be a bit more combo oriented. Like, I don't know. And I'm just gonna watch you stare at a wall for 30 seconds, I guess. Okay. So you, yeah. But there's pretty much always gonna be something. What are you? Whoa. Okay. So I don't know what that aiming was, but basically, you shouldn't be there, ever. You should like that shouldn't be a place you should be. And then your heavy's just okay. It's because of the telly. Okay, but yeah, you should never be behind them like that constantly. I mean, I know what the mindset is. I've had that mindset in the past. It's that idea that you're gonna go huge with this back cap and it's gonna be awesome. But at the end of the day, you're an engineer and there's only so much you can do. Like you're the benefit like your team's success is more important than your own. And right now, I think the best way I can describe your playstyle is just selfish. You just got to be able to contribute more to your team fights. You have to be able to bring more to the table. You have to be able to have these buildings down already for your team. You have to be have mini sentries down in areas, and then you can play elsewhere. But instead, what is your okay? Your heavy is interesting. So you guys actually, I don't know why you guys chose to back up there. You know, so now you're behind again. Looks like. Alright, so I don't know how this is managed. This is somehow working. That's probably because their medic died, so I guess that flank worked. So I guess that time it worked, but that's because your entire team was dead. Plus they had nobody on mid, but I can guarantee if there were people on mid, that would not have been pretty. Okay, so we're retaking mid here. And you seemed a bit too eager with that mini sentry there. You're just not, you just weren't very conscious of their spawns. Oh man, that's unfortunate. So your medic died. You guys still have a lot of players. You can definitely push this without heals. It's just a matter of gathering your players up to focus particular players. It doesn't matter now because their team got all their players back. Okay, their medic died. There you go. So yeah, like a lot of lower level players hear the call med down or our medic died, and then they just immediately freeze, like they don't know what to do. Med down is like, I guess it's like a golden call for your team to push in because they don't have heals, but and I noticed that's what you guys did. But when your medic dies, you guys can still like push without heals. You just have to be able to, again, take that initiative to go in and create openings or play off of openings that your team creates. Nice job killing the spy. So you guys have Uber out here, and you're just wasting it. And your players are dying because of it. Your team is just wasting way too much time just chilling out in lobby, not doing anything. And that's detrimental to you because it makes, like, you don't, like, there's nothing you can do. You're just kind of waiting around for your team to do something because it's Engineer on Gullywash. So now you guys are going in with all of your players just respawning. You're gonna go straight to point here, it looks like. So that was actually good initiative on your part. It was really good for you to just jump, like, just run in, get that cap while your demo focused the sentry. So good job, good on there. It's a pause? Okay. I figured there was a pause because this is longer than 30 minutes. I'm just gonna go ahead and wait this one out. God, I just love Engineer on 5CP. Overall, it's just a... Oh god, oh god, oh god. Overall, this is just a very disjointed team as a whole. Like, I find it hard to find success on Engineer when my team is just as disoriented and not very coordinated. Just because I just don't know what is expected of me. And I feel like your playstyle is... What the heck? Did both teams get Uber already? Okay, whatever. I must not have been paying attention. Anyway, it's just hard to know what's expected of me when it's... So, in a way, I kind of understand where you're coming from when you play like this. Is just because your team doesn't really have a central idea of what it wants to accomplish and how it wants to play certain things out. And that allows you to... And that sort of leaves you to... Oh, they built Uber during the pause. Okay. Duh. Okay, that makes sense now. I forgot that was a bug that happened a while ago. Okay. As I was saying, you just want to be able to... Like first and foremost, you want to know what your team expects of you and what it expects of itself and what it wants to accomplish and how it's going to accomplish that. And you have to play around that and develop a play style that complements your team. But in this case, if you're just running around doing nothing, like it's like from what I've seen the most prominently is just your players. I mean, on both sides, honestly, is that your players are just running around the map with not much direction at all. It just leads to like these very long stalemates. Both teams are dying. Just that stereotypical stuff. Yeah, so your medic did a really good job holding on to that Uber. You guys can take mid for free now. Okay. But yeah, as I was saying, you really just want to, I guess, find a play style, like, develop a play style that complements your team, and you want to just work with your team on something like that. And then just go from there, and you'll be able to find a lot more success. Heavy was just doing nothing there. Just tell me you win this. Yeah, so you kind of just walked in for no reason there. Your heavy was there. I imagine you just wanted to support him, but if that's the case, then he forced you into a very bad position, and he shouldn't have done that. Ooh, that was big. Okay, so it looks like you're on Frontier Justice now. I don't know if your mini's still up. Oh, it is. Okay. So generally, I don't like to run Frontier Justice on 5 CP, just because of how just how much just how much it changes, like how much just how stalemate it is. I don't know. I do not like Frontier Justice on 5 CP. It's just not fun for me. I don't find a whole lot of success on it. There's just not a lot of the way this map in particular is designed. It just doesn't allow me to go for any big plays. And you wasted all your crits on the pyro there. Oh. Okay, yeah, so you got a bit too greedy there. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, the Frontier Justice, in my opinion, all it does is just promotes stupidly aggressive play that leads to dumb decision making and feeding. Especially on this map. On a map like on King of the Hill, it's like not a huge deal, but on 5 CP it promotes, it really encourages you to play out of position and really baity. So here we are again. Once again for like the 5th time. Just in lobby, not doing anything. So again, all we can do is just wait for our team to make an opening. Meanwhile, we'll just hang out in lobby and patrol the area. Usually you can get a dispenser up in this downtime. I like to put it, excuse me, I can't move. I like to put it on these stairs right here just because it's a nice little middle ground between flank and where your combo plays. It's out of the way of spam too, so you don't have to worry about getting destroyed. So it looks like you died. I didn't see, but from what I imagine, you just tried to take a fight with your scout and lost. You're pretty much gonna lose those every single time, especially if their scout's really good. He's just a better combat class than you are. So you want to avoid those at all costs. Your team finally walked in, and you're just kind of lingering back again. So finally, you decided to take this initiative, going in through secret. Oh my god, this is perfect. Good job. Good. Yes. Okay, so everybody kind of just died at the last second there, but you had the right idea, which is all that matters. That's very good. Unfortunately, you guys got on the point a second. You guys killed their players a second too late, but it's okay. The mindset was there, and that's all that really matters. They're doing a really good job of destroying your teleporters. Yeah, usually, even if you have a teleporter that goes behind them, it can be pretty unsafe to take them, so I personally tend to avoid them just because of the risk involved. It's just not something I want to... It's just not a risk I don't want to... It's not a risk I want to take, because it just... Well, I mean, I don't want to say risk so many times, but I'm at the risk of dying. You know, I just don't want to keep dying so much. This asteroid guy really likes to talk shit. Jesus Christ. What a goblin. Okay, and we're back in the lobby. Oh man. Okay. You just noticed your medic getting dived there. Ignored it. This is almost over, thank God. Okay, and then you just feed here. I mean, the game's nearly over anyway, so it's not like it matters at this point. But I feel like I've said enough at this point that it kind of just outlined what you were doing wrong on NG and how you can fix it. I just tried to bring up as many of the central problems as I could. Oh, nice kill. Alright, and this 30-minute long 5 CP match of Highlander ends in a 1-0. Okay. Alright, so yeah, anyway, yeah, I've pretty much said all that needs to be said, so I hope it was sufficient. I'm sorry if this video is kind of boring, but that's kind of just what happens when you play 5 CP in Highlander. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video.